So I was just about to hop in bed and boom, I saw the tweet notification from Adam Schefter. The San Francisco 49ers and wide receiver Jauan Jennings have agreed to a reworked contract going into 2025. Season opener is coming up on Sunday on the road for the Niners against the Seattle Seahawks, and so this goes down as another pre-Sunday Week 1 deal. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making this late edition of the 49ers Report a part of your evening, or if you're waking up with us on Thursday, September 4th, good morning, and here you go. Here's some Niners news on your feed right here on YouTube from yours truly right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. So let's dive in here. Adam Schefter with the tweet that another pre-Sunday deal has happened. The 49ers and Jauan Jennings reached agreement on a deal that will add $3 million in playtime incentives to the wide receiver's contract, according to his agents Drew Rosenhaus and Jason Rosenhaus. And so now, instead of earning $7.5 million this season, Jennings can earn up to $10.5 million. Outside of all of the verbiage from Schefter, what this pretty much means in a simplified way is that Jennings was set to make $7.5 million in 2025. That's his contract going into this year. If he plays well and reaches certain thresholds as far as statistics and performs well, that $7.5 million contract can go up to $10.5 million. So pretty much if he plays well and reaches the numbers that the Niners and him agreed to, or at least the structure of the deal that they came to an agreement on, he can earn $3 more million. And obviously, this is really significant for him. It's significant for this 49ers offense. Jauan Jennings is a really valuable player to what the Niners have done on the offensive side of the football. And with all of the injuries and question marks at wide receiver going into 2025, it's great to get this deal done, get him happy, get him invested and bought in, and just get rid of this contract drama heading into the year that the Niners did not want to deal with and clearly were not going to put up with after everything that happened last offseason with Brandon Aiyuk, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, in years prior with the likes of Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel. The Niners have had good vibes hovering around their franchise and their organization this offseason, into training camp, in the preseason. They are trying to get rid of and flush the memory of that 6-11 2024 season, a season from hell, a season that was nightmarish. And they didn't want to deal with contract drama taking the focus away from the game of football. And they didn't really let it get to that point, but they didn't want this to continue. And you could tell that the Niners played a little bit of hardball this week because Jennings had not practiced since July. I think he had 3 official practices with the Niners when he originally reported the training camp. And then he said, my calf hurts. It's the same calf that I injured back in the spring. I can't practice any longer. But it turns out that it was a phantom calf injury. Because what the Niners did, they flew in Kendrick Bourne, who was with this team from 2017 to 2020. He had been a good player for the Niners. San Francisco really valued him. He knows the scheme. He got let go by New England after he left San Francisco to get a bag. And the Niners having needs at wideout, question marks at wideout, fly him in. They try him out. And once Jauan Jennings gets wind of that Bourne is going to be in the building, at the facility, trying out for the team, he's like, okay, I got to report the practice because I have to get ready for this Week 1 matchup against Seattle. A Seattle team that is feisty, that I think is underrated, that has a defense that steadily improved last year, that can be a really stout unit under Mike McDonald. And so Jennings reports and practices, and there was also that report from Tim Kawakami that the Niners could have flexed on this issue and put Jennings on IR if he didn't start the practice, which then he would have missed the first several weeks of the year, and that would have impacted Jennings's ability to perform and put up numbers so that he can earn a big contract either from the Niners or another team after 2025. And there was that report, of course, from Adam Schefter going into training camp that Jennings either wanted to get traded or he wanted a new deal. But with the Niners handing out all this cash, especially with what happened with Aiyuk, the drama, the social media antics, all the negativity, then the injury, I think they got a little bit gun-shy, and they didn't want to have to deal with the same or similar situation with another wide receiver in Jauan Jennings, who, here's the deal, right? Like I said earlier, Jennings, really valuable player to what the Niners do. So clutch. Plays with physicality, plays with swagger. He's a team leader. He is beloved and respected in that locker room by the coaches. He is a willing run blocker. He tries to impose his will on the opponent. He tries to intimidate opposing DBs. He has had so many clutch plays and performances in big-time spots on big-time plays when the pressure cooker is on. Like, he has been money for this Niners team. And what he's given them as a 7th-round pick has been great. But here's the deal. The reported asking price of $20 million per year, which is Mike Evans' money, who's a future Hall of Famer, after one good year of production, unacceptable. And if I'm the Niners, I was never giving into that either. $11 to $15 million is great for Jauan Jennings. I think he's worth that because I think he's a really good number 2. He's a really good number 3. The wide receiver market is exploding, and that's the price tag that I'm willing to give him. If he's asking for 20 plus, no way I'm giving him that. But instead, the Niners and Jennings, given the mutual respect that they have for one another, they come to an agreement. I'm not going to necessarily say middle ground because Jennings obviously ideally wants more, but at least they can settle on this. That if Jennings, who has one good year of production, 975 yards last year, 6 touchdowns. Prior to last year, he never sniffed coming close to 500. Now the Niners are saying, hey, you perform, you play well, we'll give you $3 more million on top of the $7.5 million that you were set to make. And that's the $7.5 million that you agreed to on a new deal that was reworked last year going into 2024. Because then you had really to a point outperformed your deal. The Niners rewarded him because they understood he's a bargain. He's outplayed his current contract. We need to give him a little bit of a pay raise to say thank you. And now I think Jauan Jennings got a little bit greedy with him asking for the reported $20+ million per year. What was also obviously kind of odd and weird is that there was the report from Schefter that Jauan Jennings had requested a trade. And then John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said he didn't request a trade. And then John Lynch had said like last week, yeah, he did request a trade, but we're not doing that. What this also gives Jennings is the ability after this year to maintain his free agency. So he can still be a free agent after this year. And look, if he wants $20+ million, play well this year, and there's a chance that you can get it in free agency. It's not going to be from the Niners, I will tell you that right now. But Jauan Jennings believes in himself. He's obviously a very confident player. He thinks that he's worth that. Well, if you think you're worth that, play well this year, and now he can maintain his eligibility for free agency, and he can try to cash in after this year. Instead of signing a deal right now that may have been between 11 and 15. You want more? Go out there and prove that you deserve more, Jauan Jennings. And I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying you can't have one good year production and say, all right, I want $20+ million per year. The guys who get paid, especially with their second contracts in the NFL, when they're on those current rookie deals, they're usually guys who put up numbers over the course of like 3 or 4 years. Jauan Jennings, I know he was on stacked teams, but come on now. You're asking for 20+ reportedly after one good year? You're not a number 1. You're probably a number 3 or a solid number 2. We got to be realistic about this. Now, I have some more thoughts to get to, obviously, but let's get to our sponsor, Prize Picks. This episode of the 49ers Report brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day. The Niners just made a decision with Jauan Jennings. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is very simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks, the best place to get action on sports in more than 40 plus states, including California. And Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits right into your football account this football season. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can double your money now, even if one pick doesn't hit. And with Prize Picks, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. And right now, get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Use our link, prizepicks.com, code CLNS, and sign up today. So, more on Jauan Jennings here. Last year, 77 catches, 975 yards, 6 touchdowns. All of those were career highs, and he really became a go-to option for Brock Purdy. Context, obviously, is always important because Jennings did all of that when the Niners were the second most injured offense in the NFL, number 1 most injured team in the NFL. But he passed the eye test, right? He's big, he's deceptive, he wins contested catches, he obviously comes through on the biggest of plays throughout the game. He's always in the right spot at the right time. Brock Purdy really trusts him with throwing the football up to him, giving him an opportunity to come down with it with some of those aforementioned contested opportunities. Jauan Jennings is also a fantastic run blocker. He's pretty good at picking up yards after the catch, not in a sense that he's Deebo Samuel, right? But in the sense that he's physical and he's hard to bring down. I mean, that play against Seattle last year when he looked to be wrapped up and the announcer even said, yeah, he's going to get wrapped up. And then he kept rumbling, an impressive play. And there's an opportunity for him in 2025 to certainly duplicate that type of production. Again, 77 grabs, 975 yards, 6 touchdowns. Ricky Pearsall's the wide receiver 1 right now. Jauan Jennings is the wide receiver 2. And I know that we're all hopeful that Brandon Aiyuk is going to come back at some point, but we're not sure when Brandon Aiyuk is going to come back. Demarcus Robinson facing a suspension to start the year, first 3 games of the year, and so you won't see him for a little while. So Jennings, not only back at practice, but looking damn good. And he's going to be the number 2 wideout behind Ricky Pearsall, and that's a pretty good, solid 1-2 punch for this Niners offense heading into 2025, combined with the rushing attack that they also have with Christian McCaffrey and the quarterback that they have in Brock Purdy. But, one of the things that I was pointing to with Jauan Jennings prior to last year was just the lack of production, right? And awesome story. 7th round pick, didn't make the 53 as a rookie, was on the practice squad. And then every year that he's been in the NFL, he's certainly gotten better and better and better. But when I mention the lack of production here, this is what I'm talking about. And this is why I'm like, look, you can't be asking for $20+ million. I know in any negotiation, the asking price is going to be high. And then you come down from there. And then hopefully you meet in the middle between you and your employer. But we're talking Mike Evans money here, who's been in the league for like a decade, and he's had 1,000 yards in every single season. So year 1 for Jennings, 2021, 38 targets, 24 grabs, 282 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Year 2, 35 catches, 416 yards, 1 touchdown. That was a career high before this past year. Then in 2023, 19 catches, 265 yards, and a touchdown. And then last year, 77 catches, 975, and 6 touchdowns. So great year. Work off of that. Have another good year here in 2025. You'll get $3 million. And then if you hit free agency, given the way that you play, your emergence, your ascendance as a football player, your improvements, your progressions, with the wide receiver market exploding because of salary cap inflation, Jauan Jennings, you will get paid. So a revised deal for him, $3 million more with playtime incentives. $7.5 million is the base salary right now. He can earn up to 10.5. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Good night to everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm going to go get some shut-eye, and I'll catch you tomorrow.